Hey there. So when I was a kid, said in a previous video, I started playing D&D when I was 12 in the 11 in the summer of 1987. We only really played that once, but it kind of like stuck right in my head. So the next summer, I had found a copy of the basic set myself and bought it. And because I really, really, really wanted to play, my friends were kind of like playing too, but I was the one who was really into it and thought it was the coolest idea, the coolest concept, coolest thing ever, really. I'm the one who kind of really pushed to play, so I became the dungeon master, and I learned the rules, and I would play. So my basic set came with a copy of Queen's Harvest. I really actually only didn't. I only owned so many modules when I was a kid. My money kind of went into buying the five box sets. Now it wasn't just me; it was my brother as well. But then I started expanding into other games. But in terms of D&D BECMI stuff, it was the main box sets, which came with let's see, we had. Queen's Harvest in the basic set, and in the expert set it came with Isle of Dread. I'm pretty sure of that. I added a couple of other modules to my collection, really just two. City of the Gods, which kind of added a weird sci-fi-ish element to D&D, but it came with a big map of part of the Blackmoor setting, which I used a lot. And Drums on Fire Mountain, which to date is still one of my favorite D&D adventures ever. I would put the only other ones I'd probably put near the top there are Castle Ravenloft. I never played the previous versions of it I should say Curse of Strahd from D&D 5th edition. I never played the previous versions. And actually, I gotta admit, for 5th edition, Dragon Heist was a spectacular adventure. Most of the other modules, like most of the other campaign modules that have come out for 5th edition, I could take or leave most of them. I've played a bunch of them, tried running a couple. The only ones I ever saw to completion were Curse of Strahd and Dragon Heist. I think we got to a level 11. I think the 11th level of Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We still had a long ways to go, but it had completely lost our interest by the time we got about there. Played a bunch of others, but back in the old school D&D days, what I did, like, D&D was kind of like, hey, hey, want to play after school kind of thing. Or we'd get home and be like, hey, you want to play D&D? Often enough, I think I really kind of worked on my improv abilities a lot when I was a kid, because I didn't have a lot of money for modules, so I didn't buy a lot of adventures. I made a lot of stuff up just kind of off the top of my head. That's pretty much the way I ran games back in the day. Hey, want to play D&D? Cool, sit down. Where are we at in our campaign? Cool. Now I had a little bit of a campaign ADHD. I'd get bored. I'd come up with a new idea in my head. I'd be like, okay, scrap those characters. We're gonna start a new campaign. So, we just go, and I would just kind of go with whatever I thought would be fun, amusing, entertaining at the time, and we would just go. We did hex crawls. We used the known world map to kind of explore. I kind of like what I'm doing here. I would just have a blank hex grid and just kind of fill it in. All right, you head west along the road for three days of travel before you come to another settlement. Then I would make it up as to what was going on. That's kind of what I'm trying to capture in this here. A little bit of that mixed in with my modern gaming and storytelling sensibilities. I'm not entirely sure how successful I'm being so far. I've probably spent a lot of time navel gazing in this rather than actually solo playing. But I'm going to try pushing ahead a little bit with this session and see if we can get a few things accomplished. I really want to get into some battles tonight. But first, I need to pause to deal with the dog. Okay, so that's kind of... I don't know, I keep sprinkling in my own history of D&D and gaming stuff here, but that's kind of the way things were when I was a kid. And that's kind of what I wanted to capture a little bit here, kind of some of that goofy, off-the-rails, sandboxy kind of fun, you know. Don't really care too much about what story's going on. You know, I created characters, I created NPCs that they would interact with, and then forget about them, and then suddenly be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this NPC that we haven't used in like 3 weeks. You hear a knock at the door, and there they'd be, kind of thing, right? You know, just really ridiculous stuff, and that's kind of what I'd like to try to capture, along with the idea that, you know, I have more modern sensibilities, and I enjoy kind of story and a narrative that, you know, kind of wraps itself together. But sorry. So we have our party, we have everything. I'm just going to slip right over to our adventure list here as we kind of begin what's going to be scene 10. See, this one's weirder. We're on episode 11, but we're only on scene 10 in total. So this is how I can tell that I've spent a lot of time talking things through, figuring things out, whatever. Part of my issue is now becoming I'm starting to adopt too many different solo gaming and other rules. This is my typical binder that I use for all my solo gaming stuff. So every flag in there is linked to a portion of a book, table, a particular set of tables, or whatever. Now I have a second binder. Everything in here is also linked to a set of tables, a book that's been printed, you know, PDF that I've bought and printed out, or whatever. Since I'm a fan of Mythic, one of the things I've started doing is looking at the Adventure Crafter. I picked that up, and then I have looked through the last week or so. I have looked through so many things about dungeon generation for solo gaming, and I'm still not sure if I have if I like exactly kind of where I'm going with all of this, but I've got some ideas. But I started looking at the Adventure Crafter, and I'm not sold on it yet. I want to give it a shot and kind of make it work, but I'm not going to do that tonight. And today I picked up the first Mythic magazine compilation and started seeing all the location crafter stuff. Scattered throughout there. And so then I bought the location crafter and printed out a copy of that and checked it out, and I kind of like some of the way it works. It's still not a random dungeon generation mechanism at all, unfortunately. But I have ideas as to how that's going to work. So we're going to kind of try to dive back in here. So when we last left off, the party had just accepted a deal from the local reeve to go check out a spot south of town along the coast. We're gonna go. Oops, that's not what I want. Go over to the map. South of town, where some merchants coming into town had seen the fish people kind of, you know, out there, which means they're expecting an attack tonight. This is the first time that they've actually been. I don't know what's going on here, but why is this showing? I do not know. We'll just delete that. This is the first time that they've had warning that the fish people are about to attack. In fact, we should grab our monster stat blocks, because as you'll recall, the kuo-toa are not in D&D Basic. I'll throw this on the other side of the Roll20 window here. And I'm going to zoom in just a touch here because we're going to go to our terrain and the guys are going to... So basically, my thought is the the party sets out shortly after their meeting with Reeve Germanus, and they are going to head south along the road. The road, in theory, follows the coast. Now, because of what this is here, I mean, I need this to be useful. It can't be another island. It really can't. This needs to be some kind of a thing going on here. Sorry, some kind of an idea as to or let me try this again. It needs to be land. It needs to make sense for kind of my narrative so far. So we're going to roll a d20. We got these guys leaving the plains. Now I've got this as plains, although it's kind of coastal. It's coastal, but it's farmland as well, kind of in the area. So I've got my activated d20 here for my go dice. I'm going to roll as they move south to see what we got. An 11 comes up as a coastal region, which kind of makes sense. So we get away from the farmland a little bit. Water village, swamp plain. We don't really have anything that's specifically coastal here. So plains are basically going to be our default our default land here, I guess. We're going to move that to the map layer. Then I'm actually going to move to the map layer, and we're going to send that to the back. Cool. Does the road continue? Does the road kind of go into G3? That's what we're looking. Does it kind of continue that southernish, or kind of? I guess in this case, does it turn to the southwest? I will now move to our dice, and we're gonna roll. Sorry, our chaos factor is 2. I just made this a 50-50, which means no. Which means the way I'm gonna kind of look at this is that the road. I'm just going to kind of zoom in. And on the map, the road swings the other way. Actually, maybe I can do this a little bit different here. Hello. So let's do this and this. So we got our road figured out. It leaves Port Cirric and kind of loops this way instead. Okay, so it kind of veers away from the coast. So that means probably somewhere in this area is where the fish people were spotted. So we're going to kind of shift away from here. I don't need the terrain because they know they're not far from town. The party travels south by foot. We're going to roll for a random encounter. Okay, so on a 6 for the D6. That's a 1. We're good. No random encounter. So, the party, however... Oops. That is still in draw mode. Okay, what in the hell is going on now? Alright. Roll 20. Google Chrome got a little confused there. I'm just going to pause the recording for Okay, so Chrome or Roll20 or something got a little confused there. The party travels south along the road into this hex. We're now starting to kind of figure things out a little bit, kind of, you know, how this area is going to kind of shape up. We know there's going to be land kind of through all. I was actually going to point at it. That doesn't make any sense. Kind of all through here, you know, down through here. We know this will be land. In fact, I'm going to try to probably, as we build that out a little bit more, try to avoid more water around this area, just in terms of we want to make sure this is a. We want to make sure this doesn't like come up as an island. This is part of the main continent. But anyway, the party travels south along the road. They leave the road once it starts veering off to the southeast, and they go in search of these creatures. So I'm actually going to let's pop this down here maybe. Leocadia, I think, needs to kind of slip away to recon a little bit. So she goes off to look for the fish people. She, you know, speaks with Berham quickly. I think perhaps it's best that I go first. I can move quicker and lighter and quieter on my own without all of your armor and shields clanking around. Berham says, "Very well, I agree. We shall set up camp here and await your return." There's not really, you don't need to set up camp, just, you know, have a seat for a while. I'll be back. If I'm not back if I'm not back by this afternoon, you know, come looking for me. Leocadia slips away. So here's how we're going to kind of deal with some thief skills. So, first of all, she's going to be moving relatively. Until she kind of gets to the coast. She's going to be kind of just keeping a little low, crouched, but, you know, moving quickly. As she gets to the coastal region itself, she's going to start being a little more stealthy. Now I need to check something here. Where's our... Okay, so as she kind of looking for the fish people. So we're going to do this. So she's going to... We're going to give her a hear noise, I think. Does she hear them? So let's go with a hear noise. I'll do 22. That's actually a success. So now my question for the Oracle is, are the kuo-toa making noise? I'm going to call that unlikely, I think, which is like a 10% chance that they're, you know, this is going to be a yes. No. Kuo-toa aren't making noise. Are the kuo-toa out and about somewhere that she'll spot them? I'm thinking this seems unlikely. Again, at Chaos Factor 2, this is a 10% chance. 92 is a no. Actually, it's an extreme no. So, people, they are definitely not out in the open, which to me suggests kind of where I wanted to go with this. I think there's kind of a rise along the coast, and there's an open cave. Uh, uh, and Leocadia spots the entrance to a cave. So what I'm also going to do then is I'm just going to move this for a second, and I'm going to do this. We're going to come back to our freehand. We're going to grab a little ellipses, and we're going to kind of put this somewhere down here. And then we're going to, sorry, that actually I wanted that to be on the map layer. I'm going to switch over to the map layer. Cave. Or can I just make that black? What does it look like if it's just black? Oops. What if I do it as just black? What happens? I do need to shrink the text. Nope. We're going to make that yellow just to stand out. Alright, sometimes Roll20 annoys the piss out of me, and right now that's what it's doing. Cave. There we go. And then we're going to switch on back to token layer. Leocadia, upon spotting the cave. Okay, I'm thinking kuo-toa probably prefer kind of like the. I can't remember if kuo-toa prefer the darkness and such, but I'm thinking like they're fish. They kind of like it cooler. They like it a little darker. I'm thinking they're probably not out in the open at like, you know, early like before noon kind of thing, right? So I'm thinking they're probably not outside the cave. So I'm gonna ask though, but can she spot any of them at the cave just inside the entrance? I'm going to say it's very unlikely, which gives me a 5% chance. No, she doesn't spot them. The mouth of the cave. But she's fairly sure that's where they would hide. Okay, I need a quick pause to once again deal with the barking dog. Alright, she doesn't really get that close to the cave. She kind of eyes it from a little bit of a distance. She kind of crouches down in, you know, in some overgrown brush area, and watches the cave for a while, just kind of keeping an eye out, seeing if anything moves. But even after like half an hour of watching the cave, there's nothing. But looking up and down the coastline, this seems probably the only possibility where they could be. So she, after watching for about half an hour, she returns to the party. Just to be, you know, just to be entertaining, she's going to move silently as she kind of approaches the party to try to sneak up on the party. Which, since it's a 20 and I rolled 26, she does not do. And the party, you know, Berham's the one who kind of catches her. Oh! Leocadia, you have returned! Yes, I think I've found where they might be hiding. There's a cave. There's an area where there's a rise above the coast, and I can see a natural cave down by the water. I think if they're anywhere, they're probably there. I don't know much about these fish people, but if I had to guess, well, fish like to stay low during the bright sun. They stay under the water. If I had to guess, I'd say they're in that cave. Ah, some fine logic there. Yes, I do believe that that would make sense. Let us go. Let us see. Everyone ready? The rest of the party kind of nod, or there's some eye rolling from both Leocadia and Kennocha. They don't quite have the same respect for Berham that he seems to think he commands. They don't really have that many. They don't really have necessarily issue with him, but at the same time they're not going to put up with his pompous cleric bullshit either. So the party kind of breaks what little camp they had set up, which was basically just kind of like more or less hunkering down in the weeds, maybe throwing a bedroll down just they're not sitting right on right exactly on the ground maybe, but yeah, there's not much that they really set up, so there's not much of a camp to break, and then they head for the coast. Leocadia brings them to their Leocadia, so she guides the party to her vantage point where she was watching the cave. She's explained kind of what she saw, or in fact what she didn't see really. And she suggests, possibly a closer recon, or they can just go in as is. Berham thinks it over. Well, I don't know about a further recon. We could perhaps just enter the cave and deal with the monsters. Kennocha is going, that is the first intelligent thing you've said all day. She's looking for a fight. In fact, she actually hitches up her shield, makes sure she's good to go, and draws her sword. She's like, let's go. Meanwhile, I assume like most of these party members would have been in a fight at some point, probably except for Rowan. Rowan is brand new to adventuring. He's really never set foot outside that. He's really never set foot outside of Ernesto's tower, so he's the only one that looks. The blood goes out of his face. He's looking a little pale, but the party kind of makes their way down to the cave. I'm just going to. In fact, there's no sense kind of recording all this. I'm just going to pause as I look. All right, there we go. So I just kind of was looking through some a bunch of assets here, looking for something that I could use. Which I think I found something. The party works their way down the hill, kind of works their way down to the coast itself, down to the water's edge, follows it along towards the cave, which is some natural light kind of getting in, but further in they can tell that it gets quite dark, as a cave should. So I do have things. So this I do have as the cave entrance. I come down here. Cave entrance is there. And now we need our party. And I'm suddenly realizing they may not all have their information here. Kennocha has a armor class of 5 and 5 hit points. So I'm just going to pop in here. Sure, we'll throw the nameplate on. Armor class of 5, hit points of 5. Just make sure everyone's kind of set up here. She's good. Rowan. Don't know why I keep doing that. Rowan's not set up. Okay, Rowan. combat has 4 hit points and an armor class of 9. He's much more easily hit. And he's a wizard, so that makes him squishy. Oh, actually, one more thing. This is for Rowan. Yes, let's add the nameplate. Hello, close. Did I do that with Leocadia? Yes. And Berham. Berham's combat 5 and 5 again. Yes, because his dex is bad. Okay. He is set up. We're good. Okay. As they approach the cave, Kennocha looks over at Rowan and says, "You should stay to the back. We don't want you getting killed." Rowan just nods. So I think we're going to kind of form a marching order. So it's basically this is meant to be 5-foot squares, right? Ooh, I don't know why that's not a proper thing, but okay. Worry about that. Berham actually will take the lead along with Kennocha. I may need to find another rogue there because that's got a background to it. That's a problem. With Leocadia and Rowan kind of coming up from bringing up the rear. So basically marching kind of 2 by 2 here. They're not exactly going to move quietly here. So only thieves really have the ability to move silently. Anybody else, they're wearing armor, they're clanking, they're whatever. They're not skilled at stealth. Rowan, actually, sorry, Leocadia is. I think she's got torches. She's got torches. No torches there. I'm seeing tinderbox. I'm not seeing any torches. Do I check Rowan? I doubt Rowan's carrying torches. Kennocha. Alright, nobody's carrying torches. So all of a sudden, like, someone's like, pass, Berham's like, pass Leocadia a torch. She can hold it. And Kennocha looks at him. She's like, I'm not carrying any torches. Me neither. Leocadia, light a torch. She goes, I'm not carrying any torches. I move just fine usually in dim light. Rowan, did you bring any torches? I don't know anything about this. I didn't know to bring torches. This is a problem. So they've arrived, but they have no torches. They realize they have no torches at the cave's entrance. Now, here's a question. Because they're talking and Berham doesn't have an inside voice, any fish people in there, do they hear them? I'm thinking that's nearly certain, which with the Chaos Factor 2 is still only a 50%. 55. No, they don't hear them. Okay. They need to make a plan. They slip back away from the cave. Berham says, All right, back. What are we going to do? With no torches, we have no light. We'll get killed in there. Leocadia looks at him and she's like, of all the things that we didn't even think to bring, this? He's like, I was not expecting to have to enter a cave to potentially fight dangerous monsters. Like, the name of the game is Dungeons and Dragons. So, I understand none of us obviously really thought about it, but we need a solution. Well, I'd feel kind of silly returning to town to buy torches and then have to come back here. Let's see if we can scrounge something up. Okay. How would we deal with this? Can they find enough dry, stuff to kind of like, wrap things together into a torch? Maybe they can come up with like a makeshift torch that'll last, a short period of time. So let's say they're on the coast and I've kind of decided that it's spring, and in fact I'm gonna kind of do this. So we know we're in, I think, was it campaign notes? Yeah. So we're in the year 976. Actually, I need to update this because poor Eggle, he got murdered. And we took on Leocadia, who's a first level thief. Maybe I'll put a little space and I'll go graveyard. Better yet, PC graveyard, just to make it very clear. I'm thinking what we're in here is the season. I was thinking this is spring. Actually, late spring. That was my thought. So, things are probably a little damp, so I'm saying it's unlikely they're going to be able to find anything, so we'll roll. Chaos factor 2, this means a 10% chance of a yes. That's a 5! Yes! They managed to put together a makeshift torch. Okay. Then Berham says, Leocadia, perhaps you should use the torch. She's like, I'm an archer, dumbass. Give it to the wizard. Okay, I can hold it. He's like, he may need his hands. And she looks at him, she's like, I'm an archer. I need both hands. You got a shield. You got a shield. Both of you have weapons. The fucking wizard is going to hold the torch. There's no need for that language. Well, it's YouTube, and this is not for children, so I'll do what I want. Very well, very well. Rowan, here. And he hands Rowan the torch. They light the torch and head back and lay the torch at the cave entrance. Now this is a makeshift torch. A typical torch, I believe, in D&D lasts an hour. Is it going to last? Since they don't really know what they're doing necessarily, is it even going to last half an hour? I'm just going to give it a 50-50. If it's not going to last half an hour, we're going to call it like 15 minutes. So it's a 15% chance of it lasting half an hour. Now, the torch is only going to last about 15 minutes. And then they're screwed. So, they enter the cave again. Here's our marching order. I'm just going to make... I seriously need to find another one. So this is going to be the torch. I'm just going to put that on there. Rowan holds the torch, high in his offhand as they enter. As they enter the caves. Now with a light source starting to shine through, I'm just going to actually move. Hello. I'm just going to move everybody just up into the cave. As they kind of come around here, the light source is starting to shine through. Now, are there kuo-toa in this cave system? I'm thinking this is certain because we want to have a fight here. So this means a 65% chance of a yes. Oh yeah, they're here. They're definitely here. That's an extreme yes. Yes, they're definitely here. In fact, that might mean there might even be like quite a few of them. Now, I'm thinking they're going to be like they're going to be holed up here. There could be potentially two different sections. So, as they around the corner, do they see kuo-toa here? I'm going to say that's very likely, which is a 35% chance. That is a 30% chance. Yes, they do see kuo-toa there. Okay. How many fish people? So we go to our monster stats. Number 4 appearing is out of 4. So we're gonna roll a d4. 2. All right. I'm thinking they're probably back right around here. So, thankfully, I had the forethought to create monster tokens. Or, sorry, to prepare monster tokens. So they're just kind of like hanging out here. Now, our monster stat block says they got 1 hit die and they got an AC of 7. So we're just going to kind of do that. Okay, but for hit points, it's a 1 hit dice, so I'm going to roll for each of them here. This guy's going to have... Okay, this guy's going to have a whopping 1 hit point. Oops, why is that not working? 7, 1 out of 1. Here, 7, and... Apparently they're pretty squishy. They'll both only have 1 hit point. However, there's some space to cross here. First thing we need to do is roll our initiative rolls. Actually, we need to see whether anybody gets surprise. Now, I need to kind of just double check something here. Surprise. Okay. Page 58 in the player's handbook. I just want to kind of make sure I'm doing this right, because I think I might have slipped up before. Mortal encounter, they walk into the room, mutual surprise, so... You are only surprised if you roll a 1 or a 2. The same applies to monsters. Both sides are surprised, so basically it's like, yeah, you're rolling to see if you are surprised. A 1 or 2 will suggest that you are surprised. Just a second, I have, once again, a dog to deal with. Alright, here we go again. Okay, so, I'm thinking either side has a chance to be surprised. The party is expecting kuo-toa in here, but they're not necessarily expecting them right there, right in front. And maybe they're like expecting, but not really. So, for the party, we'll roll to see if they're surprised. That's a 1. The party is definitely surprised. Why is it not coming up? Of course it's reconnecting. Not impressed with their ability to stay connected to my system here. Alright, let's simply add another die here. So this is the way this works. Pair. Alright. So I did... I'm not going to... Alright, not entirely sure what the hell that thing is doing. Why it's... I did roll a 1, so I'm going to make that 6. So our party is surprised, and the kuo-toa are not. Okay. This thing reconnected. No. So the blue one I'm going to set to the side for now. We'll use this black one. So the battle begins. Kuo-toa. I'm going to thinking they've probably got spears. Okay, so I'm not going to be kind of doing a blow-by-blow there, so but I do need to get a sense as to how much damage a spear does. Spear is at D6 damage. Okay. So, the kuo-toa have a movement of 40. They can absolutely get in there. And they kind of... They start to see the light coming around, and they kind of... You know, they were resting, and all of a sudden their big, you know, blobby, fishy eyes slowly open. They see kind of the light coming around the tunnel, and they reach down and they pick up their tridents and stand. Point them towards the exit to the cave, and as the party comes around, they kind of go, yeah, and charge forward. So again, we are always doing things. Our goal here is always to do things by the book, as by the book as we can. So our encounter rules. So because they got surprised, because the party was surprised, the party doesn't get to go this round. So all we're dealing with is the monsters. The monsters will move, and then they will both stab with a spear. The Kennocha here is the first one they see. 5, 10, 15. So they both kind of move in. Kennocha bringing her shield up, immediately surprised, like, what in the hell? She was not expecting there to be enemies right there. Unfortunately, they are right there, and they're going to attack. We have 2 attacks here. Since they're a hit die 1, they got a FACO of 19. They roll for 9 to only hit an AC of 10. There's no way. Kennocha's got an AC of 5. Keeping in mind, again, low AC in the old days is good. 10 is, yeah, so they only hit on AC 10. Kennocha, brings up her shield, as the first spear, clatters against it. But however, there's a second spear attack coming from the other guy. That's a natural 20. There is no critical hits back in D&D BECMI. It's just a 20 is a 20. I think it might be an auto hit, but that I would have to look. Either way, it is going to hit, and she's going to do D6 damage. Oh, bloody hell! This is brutal. As the other one, so as Kennocha brings up her shield to block the one, the other one slips in underneath and runs Kennocha through. Kennocha drops dead. Kind of like surprised. And she looks down. Her sword in one hand, her shield in the other. She looks down at this spear now. Lodged right into her abdomen, and she drops. Oops, I don't know what the hell that was. Drops dead. That is how brutal this really is. You need to make note of that. However, now they're down, and beside him, Berham looks, Kennocha! Foul monsters! As now our party gets to start working. So we do have movement, and then missile fire. Berham is not going to step over her body. He's way too nice for that. Meanwhile, Leocadia looks over to Rowan. She says, "Get back!" Movement-wise, Rowan takes a step back. Leocadia takes a step back. And then we move into missile fire. She takes a step back, reaches back, draws an arrow out of her quiver, knocks it, brings the bow up, and fires at the one straight ahead of her. She lets loose the arrow. That's 5. That's terrible. So she's only hitting on a 14. Give me a second while I deal with a dog. Okay, 5 is a miss. Now, I do expect everyone to be tracking ammunition here, so we're going to kind of come over to our inventory. Where are our arrows? Quiver, here we go, arrows. Bink! The arrow whizzes by the kuo-toa and, disappears into the darkness beyond somewhere. That's not good. Rowan has no missile weapons. Berham's not using a missile weapon. We move into magic spells now. Rowan, is he going to cast a spell? He's concerned. He could try to, he could try to put them to sleep. But I'm thinking he's... Actually, yeah, you know what? Considering what just happened, Berham's going to try to put them to sleep. So, I'm going to pull up a sleep spell here. We need the details. Sleep spell. So, the sleep spell is... It's within range. It'll affect 2 to 16 hit dice of living creatures and last for 4 to 16 turns, which is a long time. So you kind of choose an area, whatever will not work against undead. Yeah, sure. Taffy. There's no saving throw. Okay. So, since it's going to affect bare minimum of 2 hit dice worth of creatures, I don't even need to roll. Berham simply drops the torch on the ground, brings both of his hands up, starts waving them around, starts speaking, unintelligible words. But to him, obviously they make sense as he starts to wave his arms around, and you can see kind of like this magic like stream, of bluish energy starting to kind of surround, and then he kind of points towards them as he finishes his incantation, and both of the fish people kind of start to kind of their eyes close. They gets droopy and close, and then they both kind of just fall down asleep. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now, unfortunately, that also does mean that Rowan, we go to his spell book, he's used his only spell for today. He got no more spells. As these guys fall asleep, I'm not even going to really worry about it. They drop to the ground, their tridents kind of clattering aside, and they start snoring bubbles. And Berham looks over. Berham ducks down to, kneels down to Kennocha's body, checking her first. Kennocha! Kennocha! Ah! Cursed monsters! I'm sorry, she didn't make it. Leocadia kind of draws another arrow out of her quiver and just kind of knocks it, holding the bow down kind of in front of her. She's like, there may be more. I'm sorry, Berham, but we're not out of the woods yet here. Rowan, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Pick up that torch. We're gonna need it. And he reaches down and he picks the torch up and holds it high again. You know, he's waving it around a little bit. Berham looks over. He says, Leocadia, your dagger. I'll take this one. These foul beasts do not deserve life. As he walks over, he brings his mace up. For Kennocha! And he crushes its skull. Leocadia steps up and around here and slits this one's throat. So once again, we got some dead bodies here again. All right. Leocadia finishes and steps forward again. She slips the dagger away and brings her longbow back out. Make sure that arrow's ready to go. Just kind of test the bowstring a little bit and looks around. She's like, I think we might have a second. She's going to listen. Yeah, she's definitely going to listen. See if she can hear anything out there. So she's going to try to hear noise. Yeah. So are there kuo-toa further back that are making noise? I'm just going to call it 50-50. 24. No, so I needed a 15 or less on chaos factor of 6. However, they could loot the bodies, and maybe that's what we need to do next here. Or actually, maybe that's something to be worried about on the way out. I'm just going to make a quick note. Because this is D&D, and you need to still do that kind of thing. Berham kind of, he finally rises, brings that, bloody mace to bear kind of thing. He's checked Kennocha again after killing the one poor kuo-toa, and he says, "Let's find the others and put an end to their miserable lives." Leocadia goes, "You think you could say that any louder? Maybe bring them right down on top of us?" "What? Are you saying I have a loud voice?" "Shut the hell up." Berham steps around. He knows that they'll need to bring Leocadia's body back. And I'm thinking there's probably kuo-toa down here. Leocadia is going, "All right, Rowan, bring that light up here." So he does. He kind of steps up beside Berham, who ventures a little further in now that the light's there. Leocadia kind of following a little bit. They kind of peer down this area here. Do they see any kuo-toa? Actually, I guess the light bearer needs to be a little further out. So I'm going to grab this because usually lights... Oops, I need the... Is that the ruler? Yeah, that's the ruler. Light's usually about 60 feet, so they can see kind of farther down. This area is kind of blocked off a bit here, so they can't really see too much. They can tell there's 1, 2, and they can tell these things here, but that's it. Here they can kind of see all the way to here. Are there kuo-toa down there? I'm thinking it's possible, but I'm just going to kind of go with a 50-50 chance. Nope, there are not kuo-toa that they see down there. So instead, they... Berham kind of makes his way down this way. "Rowan, bring the light." Leocadia again is going, "Berham, inside voice." Does that trigger them? He's loud enough and he's inside the cave. I'm saying that's because at this point I know they're here. They're not here. They're here. There has to be more than just the two. That's the two's not enough for a raiding party, and they've got to be in this big space here. Does he bring them down upon them? I'm saying that is nearly certain. Yes. Berham's loud voice. So they... Now the question is, how many kuo-toa are back there? We got up to 4. Oops, I just rolled that twice. Sorry, I don't want to do that. We got 4 kuo-toa back there. That's not good. And we got... no... spell power left either. There's 4 kuo-toa. They hear, and kind of in the back they hear, you know, some kind of call out. Yes, yeah. Whatever they're saying, nobody speaks kuo-toa. The kuo-toa start to move, so they know they're coming. I'm saying I don't think anybody's going to be surprised this time. We just need to start rolling for initiative here. I'm going to just make sure my freaking dice are... This one's still not connecting for some reason. I do not know why. Nope, there we go. It's actually completely disconnected. Let's try adding that other die back in here, just because. Hello. I don't know what's going on right now. Okay, initiative. So let's start with. Maybe I'll just put this one die away because it's bothering me. Okay. We need initiative, so we'll start with the party rolling initiative on a 4 and the kuo-toa on a 6. Kuo-toa are going to move first. Kuo-toa, however, are not... I don't know if they actually have any dark vision whatsoever, but they would see kind of light... kind of coming around. Ooh, actually forgot, this is a light source, isn't it? No, we're not going to enable a dynamic lighting. Okay. So they kind of see the light source, which kind of illuminates Berham. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. This one kind of charges in here. And the others are going to kind of follow. And it's not really enough, I would say, necessarily to squeeze through. But they can start making it this way. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And they all start kind of heading towards... The first one there, he is going to stab at Berham with his spear. 13. That means he's hitting on a... Because they have a attack on 19, that means he's hitting on a 6. Berham has a 5 for AC. As they all start charging, by the gods! They're coming! They're attacking! There's so many of them! And he brings his shield up to stop the spear attack. Leocadia says... okay, that's more or less the kuo-toa's turn. The party's turn. Leocadia says, "Get out of the way!" And she steps around here. 10, 15 to here. And takes a look at what she's got here and takes aim at the very first kuo-toa that she sees just beyond Berham. Actually, probably stand there. She's got a bit of a better shot rather than firing right through Berham, which I never really cared much for people doing in D&D. And she brings that longbow up, draws the arrow, sights right down it, and fires. 19 was definitely going to be a hit. And that's a D6 damage for arrows, I believe. 1. Okay. Oh, wait, I forgot to roll what these guys have for hit points. So let's start with this dude. Okay, he's got 2. Okay. 2, and what did they have again? They have a AC of 7. So she definitely hit that. This dude here, he's going on a whopping 1 with an AC of 7. This dude here, ooh, he's going to be the tough one. He's got 7 hit points. And the one in the back here, 5. 5, 5, 5. Okay. 5 hit points, 7. Okay. Over here, she takes aim and lets loose an arrow. She hits this one, but she only does 1 point of damage. That is unfortunate. Meanwhile, Berham up front brings his mace up and swings it at the kuo-toa in front of him. I don't know why I just did that, but that's a miss. I should be rolling my die here. I'm not going to re-roll it. A 5 is clearly a miss. Rowan has no spells whatsoever, and he knows things are already kind of trouble. He's holding the torch aloft. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Leocadia is back there going. She's like, just stay back. We can't let them get through and start swarming us. Cool. Next round. Thankfully, every round you roll for initiative in this. So, the party is going to go on a 3. And the kuo-toa is on a bloody 6 again. Alright, at this point I'm thinking that the kuo-toa they're not stupid. They can hear things. They can probably start slipping this way too. This guy's not moving, but this guy's going to go off to investigate. 5, 10, 15, 20. And sees our poor mage there. I'm thinking that's narrow. I'm going to slow him down. I'm going to try to give the party a fighting chance here. So he scoots through slowly. And Rowan sees him coming, going, ah! Leo! Leo! She's like, Leocadia. Oh, shit. She looks back to see them coming. All right. The kuo-toa attacks Berham with his spear. He lunges forward. 6 is definitely going to be a miss, thankfully. There's no other attacks that can be made, so the party's going to get to go. Here I'm kind of cutting the party a bit of slack by that guy not doing his full movement. Otherwise, I think that wizard could have been toast. Leocadia brings the bow around, like she pivots on her foot, spinning around, and as she's doing so, grabs another arrow from her quiver, which I actually need to remove an arrow out of that quiver, actually, so I'm going to remove 2 while I'm at it. And fires again, this time at the one heading for Rowan. 19 will be a hit. D6 damage. 6 points of damage. He's got 5 hit points. And that one's dead. She's kind of pivots. As she's doing so, draws an arrow from her quiver, knocks it, aims down the sighting, just sights it, and fires, and just it sinks right into his face. And the kuo-toa drops. Now we go to melee combat. Rowan is still staying in the back, staying out of harm's way. He's not a fighter. Like, he's got a dagger. He's carrying carrying. Actually, I guess he's not carrying his staff this time because he was he only had the one hand, using the torch, which he's still doing. Anyway, Berham. Let's kind of pivot Berham here. Berham brings the mace up. You shall pay for what you've done to Kennocha and the town of Port Cirric, and he swings that mace again. 7's only going to hit on a 12, so that's going to be a miss. That's not good. We go back to initiative on the next round for the party. 4. Come on. Sorry, you probably can't see that. 3. 4. There it is. And for the kuo-toa. 1. Yes, the party gets initiative. Leocadia is going to slip this way. 5, 10, up and over the... Actually, you know what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 here to get a better vantage point. She kind of slips around. They kind of got a sense as to how the cavern worked, at least this area, just through what was illuminated. She slips around to take aim at one of these guys. She's going to kind of shoot at the one that's first. I know he's got the fewest hit points there, but the party doesn't know how many hit points they have. So she just takes aim at the first one and lets loose because we're dealing with ranged combat first. Okay, ranged combat first. So she fires another arrow. We need to deal with that. Her inventory, we're just going to remove another arrow from the quiver. And she fires. 4 is a miss. She kind of hears it clatter off the wall. And actually, even there, she probably shouldn't be really getting much of a shot. There's secondary light illuminating it, but that's about it. Rowan's kind of in there, back here. So the light is... where's the ruler in here? Just the ruler. The light... yeah, actually, she'd probably have enough, just barely enough light to make it work, but not by much. Over here, Berham, we got initiative, so Berham's going to crush this thing's skull with his mace. He brings the mace around and swings it wide. 5 is a miss. Sorry, hello? Now that's reconnecting. Not really impressed with these dice today. Alright, they're starting to annoy me. I'm going to toss them aside for now. He rolled a 5 anyway, so that was a miss. The kuo-toa get to go. They can move. Now, they're not... There's only a little bit of illumination down there, but they know one's down there. Moving. This guy's not going to move. This one's going to 5, 10, 15, head towards Leocadia as this one wants to scoot through here. And is waiting for his chance. They are going to fight, unfortunately. Berham is going to get speared, potentially. 16 is a hit. Because that'll hit on an AC of 3 for 3 points of damage. That's not good for Berham. Leocadia gets also the kuo-toa kind of charges, bringing the spear up and stabbing downwards here. 2's a miss, thankfully. This kuo-toa is going to do nothing as he just kind of waits for an opportunity. He's kind of chomping at the bit. Standing back there. Hold on to the spear. Initiative again. For the party. That's a 6 for the kuo-toa. 4. Great. Okay, the party gets to go first again. Okay, this time Leocadia is stuck into melee combat. But there is no to. See, there's nothing like an area of control back in the day. There's pursuit and evasion if they decide to run away. But they're not running away. I think you can just disengage combat. However, in one... Oh, you know what? Shit, I have not been taking into account the bonus on attacks. That's idiotic of me. Because... Or the bonus on damage, actually. I've been completely forgetting that. That wouldn't have mattered. Kennocha still would have died right off the bat. But, Leocadia instead tosses down her bow and draws her sword. Unfortunately, that's all she's really going to be able to do this round. Berham up here is going to be striking at the nearest kuo-toa, which he will attempt to do. He swings his mace. 17 will be a hit. For the 1 point of damage he needs, which will cave in this kuo-toa's skull. It kind of brings it side swipe, crunch! And with a loud crunch, the kuo-toa drops to the ground. Rowan's still kind of back there going, "Are you guys okay? What's going on? Are you guys okay?" And we come to the top of the round again. Okay, have these dice figured out what the hell they're doing? Not at all. Okay. Nope, that thing has really gotten buggered up this time, hasn't it? Okay, back to the top of the round here. Initiative for the party. Initiative for the kuo-toa. Party gets to go first. Okay, good. We need that. Now armed. No movement. Sorry, there is movement. As Berham steps over the corpse of the kuo-toa here. Actually, I'm just going to bring him to the front. Can I bring him to the front? Oh, shit. Front as he steps over the corpse of the kuo-toa. And then we're going to start doing some damage here. So, Leocadia, see, this thing is, when you swing with melee weapons, you actually have to look at your strength to figure things out, which she does not get anything. That's okay. She's going to swing with, I believe she's got a sword. Sword, yeah. She draws the sword. Yeah, she doesn't have a shield, but she's still got a AC of 5, which is what the shield bearers are often doing. So she has that sword, and she kind of feints to the left, and comes in on the right to strike. 13 will hit a 6. They've got a 7, so that will actually hit. It doesn't really matter for 1 point of damage, because that'll kill that kuo-toa there as well. As she feints to the left, the kuo-toa goes to move to kind of snap at her with his big jaws to get the spear ready, and she brings the sword around the other side and just slices open his neck, and he kind of with blood spurting out, he steps back, surprised of what just happened, and drops dead. Meanwhile, Berham up here, what is Berham dealing with in terms of strength? He's even. Okay, he's got nothing when it comes to combat skills. Aside from he should never be allowed to use a bow. Berham swings his mace. On a 6 is a miss. Alright, the party needs to get initiative here. They really do, or Berham might be dead. Okay. Sorry. Oh, shit. It's not initiative. It's, That's not good. Because this guy gets to go next. And he attacks Berham. He tries to skewer him with his spear. 14. He'll hit on a 5. Damn it! As he runs Berham through. That is a dead cleric. Shitballs. Berham dies to another kuo-toa. Damn. Or a... after he kind of swings and, you know, misses on this kuo-toa, this one turns and, you know, just kind of ducks under the mace and comes up stabbing with the spear and right into Berham's gut, and he kind of wrenches it out, you know, with the big gash kind of falling, and Berham's going, my God, how have you forsaken? He drops face first onto the ground. It's not looking good for our party. We need we need something to happen here. So we go to the top of the round here. We're going to be dealing with initiative again. Party. 2, that's not good. And our kuo-toa buddy, unfortunately, is going to be going first. He's got he knows the light's coming from down here. He can kind of just barely catch a little bit of a reflective light that Leocadia is there. Does he go for Rowan? I'm just going to say 50-50, which means it's more likely he goes for Leocadia. 33. Though 15% or less would have been it. So instead, he moves towards Leocadia. He's got initiative. He brings that spear, kind of running forward. You know, bringing the spear towards Leocadia. 13. Thankfully, that is an AC 6. Leocadia definitely, you know, dodges to the side of the spear. That's it for them. Leocadia has her sword in hand. She riposts, essentially. Not really, but yeah. She swings the sword down. 50, that'll hit an AC of 4. That will hit. Lots of damage, please. 5 points of damage. As she cuts deep into his shoulder. And she pulls back. You know, the sword down, you know, cuts him, and it kind of screeches in pain. Ah! Oops. Did I? No, sorry. That should have been, take 3 more off. He's seriously injured. He probably should have got a morale check at the last time, but he's got nowhere to flee to. Alright, let's come back. First side again. We'll roll for initiative. For the party. For the kuo-toa. Cool. Party goes first. Leocadia looks at him. She goes, "Oh, you'll pay for this." And strikes with the sword. 14 is to hit an AC of 5, which will do it. Damage of... Oh, come on! 1? 1 damage. The kuo-toa. I think he needs to make a morale check. Does he? He's got a morale? Yeah. So we need to roll 2d6 for morale. If it's over 8. Oh, yeah. He decides to flee into the cave. flees into the cave. Leocadia, I think, is prepared to let him go off and hide. They're nursing wounds, whatever. She looks around. She's like, "Oh, Berham, this was your idea. This was your party, but this did not go well for you. I'm sorry." So somewhere back there, he's going to go. Leocadia is probably going to. Well, she's like, "Rowan, bring the light." And Rowan comes forward. Oh, Berham! Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. She's like, "Shut up. There's one more, and he's back in the cape. We don't want to bring him back out." She is going to probably do some quick searches of bodies here. So what did we have here? In total, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did we have 5? That was it? 2. Could have sworn there were 4 in the back. Did I delete one instead of, I think I did. This one was the one with 7 hit points. I just deleted them instead. Okay. Oh, no, wait. No, it's not. I know what happened. He's back there. He ran away. He's hiding in the back of the cave. Leocadia goes, "We're going to have to go after him. We can't let him live." So he's going to be way back here in the cave somewhere. "Oh, are you sure? Wait, Berham's dead. Kennocha's dead. They're all over the place." She's like, "Shut up. Just shut up. We are following." And they follow back into the cave. Rowan kind of tagging along behind. She's like, she before doing so, she retrieves her bow. So she's now switched to her bow. She's put the sword away. She's knocked an arrow, and she's kind of on the hunt. Is he all the way back here? If it says no, he's going to be here. 50-50 chance. Nope. So they're not going to know it, but he's kind of hiding in this alcove. So they come back through here. Leocadia, with Rowan's light here. Actually, we'll put Rowan on this side. Rowan's light. They're not seeing anything. Leocadia listens. She tries to hear noise, which is a 30%. She hears nothing. She starts to round the corner, and does the kuo-toa jump out and attack, or does he cower, hoping that they won't see him? So does he jump out and attack? I'm going to say we'll just give it a 50-50. No, he does not. He stays there cowering. So as Leocadia and Rowan kind of make their way through. I really need to fix that. Leocadia and Rowan make their way through here. The light shines. He has no way to really hide. Leocadia spots him. We'll roll for initiative. Party. 6. Kuo-toa also 6. Movement happen. Everything happens simultaneously, so this could be bad. Now Rowan's up front here. Movement. He's going to kind of move up first. So we'll move him because Leocadia wants to shoot him. Fortunately, now he's kind of within range here. She's actually taking a step back as he moves forward. Yeah, we'll step back further into the cavern here. Thankfully, missile fire happens first. Yeah, Missile fire happens first, so if she can kill him, I don't think he gets his action to do anything. So she fires, shoots, aims quickly, steps back. As she does so, she draws the bow and she aims and fires. 18 is definitely a hit for a d6 of damage, 4 points of damage, and sinks it right into right into his throat. And the last of the kuo-toa drop dead. We need to take one more arrow out of her inventory. Rowan's sitting there going, ah, he almost got me. He didn't get you. You're fine. She kind of takes a look around. There's no other sign of any kuo-toa. This I'm just ignoring. There's nothing there as far as I know. Now we got 4, 5, 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kuo-toa. So we need to. She's gonna loot them. She's definitely gonna loot them. So, oh. Alright. So, during the battle, they killed 6 kuo-toa. And treasure found. Okay. So, I need to double check something on the treasure. This isn't their lair, so they wouldn't. If they wouldn't, they'd only have what's in the. Is it the bracket that's the lair? Yeah, no, it's the bracket that's the. It's the bracket that's on their person. Okay. So, we're going to try to figure out some treasure here. So, we got 6 kuo-toa. P is what we're looking at here. 3 to 24 per individual. So, that is 3d8. 6 times. Okay. What do we got here? We'll do some quick math. Because this is all just going to be copper anyway. So we got 14 plus 20 plus 16 plus 19 plus 13 plus 18 is 100 copper pieces. They don't carry silver, electrum, gold, platinum. Basically, they carry nothing else. That's the total of the treasure that they find is 100 copper pieces, which we do have a party treasure again. Current party treasure is 100 copper pieces. Okay, now what would these guys be worth for XP? Don't think it's much. They're only a single hit die, and I think that means they're worth like about 5 apiece or something.
12 for more XP on XP awards. Here we start. Just trying to figure out what they would be worth. Because I think it's...
So they'd be worth 5 XP a piece. So with 6 of them, that means we're earning P divided by 4. Because there were 4. So yeah, that's actually not going to be a lot of XP at all for something that was, you know, essentially lethal to the party. I think I need to kind of stop it right there. The scene's not over yet, I think, because we need to kind of... Actually, we did loot the bodies. We need to figure out what we're doing with Berham and Kennocha's bodies next. So if we're going for over an hour and a half, I think it's time to stop. Cool. Take it easy.